Hey folks, Miss Muse here. Just wanted to give you a quick rundown of what I'm hoping to see in your observations section of the labs that you're doing this year. I want to give you a rundown of all of the details and the particulars that I'll be hoping to see. So in particular, you'll notice that at the top of this table, there's a title and it says Table 1, Changes in Gummy Bear Mass in Test Solutions. So I have a title that's appropriate to the data that's going to be included in this table. And I've also indicated the table number. And the reason we do that is because later on in the analysis of the data, the analysis section of the lab, you may have more than one table. And you may want to refer to some of the information in these observation tables. And a quick way to do that is to let the reader know to look or refer to table number 1. And that will be an easy way for them to know where to go. So another thing that you want to include in observation tables where you're looking at quantitative observations, right? So that means, measured observations, not just descriptions, you need to include the unit of measure that was used. So for instance, with the gummy bears, we weighed them before and after, and so the mass of the gummy bear was measured in grams, so we need to let the reader know that. You'll also notice that there are no vertical lines in these observation tables, right? Now, that may not matter in any old table, but for some reason in the world of science and science articles, we never have vertical lines. I'm not sure where that really came from, but it is a standard, and so I figure it's best to kind of get you started in that way, and so then it won't be something new for you to learn later on. So I've pulled out an actual article from a scientific journal that was published, and so you can see here what I'm talking about. Table 1 and then a short title. But again, you see the no vertical lines, right? And some units up top. Table 1 is here, the next one's called Table 2, and so on and so forth. Something else that you might see if you have a graph or some kind of a diagram or picture. Here's another journal article. I'm just scrolling down here. You'll see that they'll title it as Figure 1. And then the next one would, of course, be Figure 2, and so on and so forth. And you can see some graphs there too. So getting back to the observation table, you might be wondering, well, how the heck do I get rid of those vertical lines? So let me show you how I made this table, and that will give you some ideas. So I'm first going to label it Table 2, Changes in Gummy Bear Length in Test Solutions. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the table function on my toolbar and insert a table. Before I do that, though, I'm going to take a look at what the requirements are for my table. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, and I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. So that's what I'm going to do down here. There you go. And so it will always, generally speaking, as far as I know anyway, default to the vertical lines and all of the borders being present. So there are some neat things that you can do though to remove that, and there are some different ways to go about that. And you may want to keep the lines in until the last minute, and just so you can kind of see where the boundaries are in each cell. So let's say, for instance, I wanted to remove the left and the right borders here. I'm going to start with the left one. You'll notice that when I highlight that particular column, that there's this little, I'm going to do this again so you can see. When I highlight it, there's this little drop-down menu that comes up here. So I'm going to click on that, and then I'm also going to click on the border side that I want to get rid of. So I'm going to get rid of the one on the left side. So when I click on that, you'll see that that left column border is highlighted now. So now I'm going to go up to my toolbar and I have a couple of different options. Now this says border width 0 point. And so if I click on that, then that means that the border will have no width and it will disappear. And you can see that it's gone. Another option I'm going to show you by looking at the right hand column, or the right hand border of the column rather. So here we go. I've highlighted it again. I'm going to go up here, and instead of choosing width, I'm going to choose color. And so if I chose white, that will work. But if you look really closely, you can see these little itty bitty spaces in between, which kind of drive me a little nuts. So I prefer to go ahead and use the other function, which is to just get rid of, to go with the 0 point, and so on and so forth. So I go about my day just getting rid of these, and you know what, it's kind of tedious the first time you do it, but then you've created a table for yourself that you can copy and paste to use for other lab reports if need be. So you're sort of investing in doing the work now so that it will pay off for you later. So here I am just getting rid of all of these vertical lines. And there I go. So really, for all intents and purposes, I've accomplished that task. I've added some little, different aspects to kind of fancy it up a little bit, but that's not really necessary. But you can change some of the thicknesses of the lines by highlighting them in the same way as I just did. I'll show you what I mean. So here I've highlighted this row. I'm going to click on the drop-down menu and select the top border, and let's say I want that to stand out a little bit more. I'm going to fiddle around with this. Let's see what 2 looks like. 2 doesn't look too bad, right? So that's one way to make it a little bit thicker and to highlight that this is sort of like your the top of your observation table, and then the bottom as well. Right. Now, in terms of this, some of you might be thinking, oh, well, I might want to add these different colors here just to differentiate or create some contrast. So there are different ways that you can do this, but I find the easiest is to just highlight that row and then to go in and I want to say just go to background color, and there I go. Done. And you can keep or not keep these lines in between. Up to you. So I hope that helps get you started in terms of creating tables that not only look good, but also are in line with what the world of science deems an observation table to look like. So I'm going to just flip over to my website for a second here and show you some other resources. So on my website, if you look in at the sidebar here, you can see that there are some different helpful links related to lab report writing. So I'm going to click on this sample observation tables. And so here are a couple of different examples that relate to quantitative data. Okay, just some different formats. Sometimes there won't be any measurements that we do. We just need to be descriptive, right? So this is an example of what that might look like. But when we get to that point in science, we'll have another discussion about that when it's relevant. And so that's all I've got to say about that for now. So best of luck. Remember, if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email through Google Classroom or have a chat with me on Monday morning.